I get in a million research reports. Again, we protect the copyright of all of our guests. I'm particularly going to protect the copyright of Bank of America Merrill Lynch's Ajay Kapur. This is phenomenal. What is modern and what is the final outcome of capitalism? Some would suggest the gathering of wealth, future income. Forget about that. Kapur of Bank of America Merrill Lynch writes on what rich, middle class, and indeed the poor do with their money. They spend it on their vanity. From Swiss watches to that first pair of sunglasses in an impoverished home in Vietnam, we earn and spend. Absolutely terrific, fantastic report. What is the outcome of this for investors? What does it signal to investors?
Well, I think we're in a growth challenge world, so any sector, any theme where you do get earnings growth, people are willing to pay a premium for. So for an investor, for example, for the world as a whole, global vanity capital stocks have been compounding about 20% per annum for the last 2 decades.
And this is not Gucci, this is not Hermes, it's much broader.
That's the important thing. This is a $4.5 trillion US market, which would make it the 4th biggest economy in the world. 90% of it is non-luxury stuff. You know, it's a lipstick. You know, it's a pair of normal shoes. It's a handbag. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's a hand cream.
Reaching up to the first stick of lipstick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So interesting.
So how do you play this? How do you invest in this? You buy L'Oreal shares or?
Yeah, well, we have a whole list of stocks in our report, but you're absolutely right. They could be personal care, they could be accessories, they could be expensive luxury products, which are growing more rapidly. So they're only 10% of the overall market, but they grow a lot faster. Now, that might change going forward, so I actually prefer the middle market stuff. So leather, shoes, handbags, cosmetics, nutrition, healthcare, athleisure.
Yeah.
All this stuff doesn't have to be expensive.
Paying up for Chipotle without GMO, perhaps. In your note, I thought it was interesting. You write about something called signaling via rebellious consumption. What does that mean?
Well, you know, the old days, you could go to an Ivy League university, you could be of a higher caste, a higher class, you could be a Mandarin in China, and then that's the way you showed off your importance. But not all of us can get into those categories. And so rebellious consumption, I borrowed it from an author, is really that you want to demonstrate your identity and individuality. It's like the James Dean jacket. It's like the James Dean leather jacket, right? That's rebellious consumption. So, you know, show people who you are as an individual.
Okay, take it over to, say, Vietnam. I mentioned Vietnam in the intro. Forget about the luxury of Olivia Stearns.
Yeah.
We know that luxury.
Yeah.
Help me with the luxury 42 miles outside Hanoi.
Well, it's interesting. In the work that we've done, except for Latin America, we found that vanity capital products and services are growing much faster than non-vanity stuff. So non-vanity stuff would probably be pet care or lawn furniture, not really part of your vanity.
Yeah.
So it's really growing at a much faster clip. So the earnings growth for vanity capital is about 11% compounded versus overall global earnings growth of about 3 or 4%.
Yeah, you're going to get a triple out of it.
Yeah. And the stocks are growing at 4x.
Can M&A come into this? I mean, I think of P&G buying Wella Blossom. It really didn't work out all that well.
Well, this is very interesting because you can see in China, a lot of multinationals are not doing as well as they thought that they might be because the local competitors are pretty fierce and there is local brand loyalty.
And they have local knowledge.
They have local knowledge and they have local networks. And so I think China, the market is more local brand friendly.
India?
India is different. Well, India is a mixture because in India, the multinationals have been around forever, so the Levers and the Colgates. But you also have very interesting local companies that also have local knowledge.
Yeah. So if we're talking about vanity, we're talking about aspiration, right? Are you saying that the local environment is better for manufacturers? I mean, the cliche, conventional wisdom is always that the developing Asian consumer still craves a luxury Italian brand.
They do crave it, but as we know, there's a huge anti-corruption story in China that's now spreading to Brazil, to India. I think
where's the Chinese version of Gucci or Diesel?
How come you always go to Ferragamo and Gucci and that? I mean, you know, she's such a slave for luxury.
I never go to Ferragamo with that.
Well,
I think Saint Laurent.
I think a lot of the Chinese are going to Japan now. You know, the tourism numbers are over 100 million, and they used to go to Europe, and that's also getting easier for them. The currency is pretty strong, so they tend to buy their luxury outside of China if they can help.
Fine, but they're still buying Italian and French luxury.
Yes.